Hey crafty friends, it's Annie from Vintage Lace Journal, and I'm back today with a folio, and it's a 4-page folio, and I made one of these a few weeks ago as a prize for getting 5,000 subscribers over on my Instagram. And one of my followers on here actually said, how did you make this? It's a lovely thing. So I thought, right, let's make one and show you all how I made it. So basically it is just 2 sheets of A4 craft card. Okay, obviously if you're American that's letter size, but it doesn't matter, so I'm going to show you how to cut this down to make the folio. Now also what I'm using today here is what I haven't used. I got a freebie sent to me because I'm now part of the Junk Journal Studio design team. I got my own freebie. Now, I've linked this down below. All you have to do is click onto the link below, which is a Google Drive, and you will get sent directly to this piece of gloriness. Look at these mushrooms. Gorgeous colours. And there's 2 sheets to this. You get these lovely cards in the large size, as well as these lovely fussy cut mushrooms on the side. You also get them then in the medium size and the small size. And you also get these lovely words in here, all about mushrooms, fungus, that can be used on your project as well. Now this is my design team freebie, and I'm going to be using this in my project. Also, I have downloaded some of the other design team members' kits because they all have the mushrooms in, and I'm doing a mushroom themed folio. So this one is from Journal Me Crazy. So Candace at Journal Me Crazy has got this freebie on her channel. So if you go to at Journal Me Crazy, you'll be able to find this one, and these are all pockets. So you've got the little side bits that you fold over to create those open pockets. You've got those lovely tickets there, so cut those out as tickets. And then again on this other one, you've got bigger journal card pockets there, and these lovely little numbers and postcards. Okay, so that's Journal Me Crazy. That's her tall pockets one on her channel. I will link that below as well. I've also pinched Mindy's freebie. So Mindy has got this gorgeous freebie with these owls and mushrooms on it. Absolutely stunning. My white, quite bright light on here is making that look quite fade, but the colours are just absolutely gorgeous on that. So that's at Mindas78, and that's her freebie again. All you have to do is go to her channel, like her videos, subscribe. That'd be really, really kind to her. And then that free video, that free download is there. And then the last freebie I'm going to use is from at Joey143 Jenny. And Jenny has got this as her design team member freebie. Again, those gorgeous like musical notes, some more mushroom and fungi in there. And then her second one is quite similar without the fungi on top. And I'm going to use those as my backing pages for this project. So they're the freebies that I'm using. So I will link those channels below. You can go onto their channels. You can go and pick up your own set of freebies. How amazing is that? So thank you to the Junk Journal Studio. They've still got their sale on at the moment as well. I do believe it's 25% off on the channel over there. So again, head on over and grab yourself some fantastic bargains while you can. So let's get started on our project. So I have got 2 sheets of A4 craft cardstock. So it's quite a nice weight card. It's not overly thick, but it's nice once you start to put your papers on top. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this down on the long edge at 11 inches. So open my trimmer up and pop that in at 11. And I'm doing both on here, so I just need to make sure that's nice and straight. And I'm going to leave it the size that this is. So that now measures 11 inches. Actually going to take that down to 8. It's just over 8. So I'm just going to make that a nice regimental size. So 11 inches by 8 inches. Okay, and that's all the cutting we need to do. So once you've got your 2 pieces of cardstock 11 by 8, I'm going to come in with my scoreboard on my inch side, and I'm going to score this in half. So 5.5 inches there. And then off that line, I'm going to, let's make sure I get this right. Excuse me 1 minute. I need to measure something really quickly. Yeah, it's 1/2 inch. So I'm going to score 1/2 inch to the left of of my 5, which gives me 5 inches, and then half an inch to the right. So I've scored at 5, 5.5 and 6. Okay, and I'm going to do exactly the same on my second piece of card. So pop that on, score at 5.5, which is down the middle, half an inch to that side, so that's 5, half an inch to that side, 6. So 5, 5.5 and 6. And I will put these measurements underneath this video. Okay, so bringing those in now, I'm going to fold over on the half line, just making sure that they do line up, because obviously when you score it gives you quite a broad line. And then I'm going to fold back on that line. Okay, and that creates our little page. And then same on this one, I'm going to fold back. Okay, so when you look at this, you've got that like W shape. Okay, and then I'm going to do exactly the same on my second piece. So on my middle score line, fold in half. Again, really make sure that those edges line up as you put your first score in. And then on the 2 other score lines, you fold back out. Out, really give that a nice burnish, turn over, and then on that second score line on this side, again, fold out. Just making sure that these edges always line up. And then we have a little W. Now, what that enables you then to do is pop one inside the other. Okay, and that creates the basis for my folio. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to go around, I'm going to just corner round the top and the bottom of each page. And this is a really nice, simple little flat project. You can put this in the post, and post these off to friends with all little bits of ephemera inside of it. There we go. So, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some holes in here, because this is actually bound together just with eyelets. Okay, I'm not binding together with any glue. That will just obviously stick that in there as it is. So first of all, I'm going to come in with my ruler and I'm going to measure halfway down here. So this is obviously 8 inches. So I need to have my middle hole in at 4. And then I'm going to come up 1.5 inches from the bottom and 1.5 inches from the top. Okay, so I've got 3 holes, 3 marks, and it's going to be 3 eyelets. So again, really make sure that they're nice and stuck together. And then I'm going to come in with my ancient hole tool, does the job, and make sure when you put your hole in, it's going, if you can see my score line is there, your hole is going to go halfway between your spine and your score line. So again, down the bottom and at the top. Oh, we missed. Okay, so happy with that. So I'm going to come in now, because these are all kind of like browny, earthy colours. I'm going to go with a nice gold eyelet. And this is obviously going to be my front, so I want the front of my eyelets to go in the front there. Okay, so pop them all in, and then I can just come along and squish them. Now this is a really, really quick way of making just a little folio or a little album. If you don't have eyelets like this, you can just put some ring holes on, or you can just leave them blank. But that just finishes that off lovely, and they go right through to the back there. So as you can see, that's created our simple 4-page folio. So the fun bit comes now of getting my wonderful freebies. Yes, they're free. And I'm going to then have a go at picking out which one's going to go where. Now, I love this owl one, so I think I'm going to use this for the front of my cover. So I think, do I want that one or do I want that one? I think I'm going to go with this part here. Okay, so I know that my journal cover, now because I've made this spine here, that has made my journal cover slightly smaller. So the actual cover is now 5 inches, obviously by 8 inches. Okay, so I'm going to write that down so I don't forget, because it doesn't take much for me to forget much. 5 by 8. Now, first thing I'm going to do on my cover is come in with my vintage photo, and I'm just going to pop round the edges of this blank craft card and just give that a little bit of a lift, because I always think that just makes it just look lovely. So while I'm inking, I hope you're all really, really well. I am feeling so much better now. Like I said in my last video, suffering with eczema has been really hard the last few weeks, but I really feel like I'm coming out the other side, which is always really good. So I'm feeling back to my old self again. Getting ready for obviously all the celebrations that are going to be coming up soon in our shops over here in the UK. We've already had the Christmas things coming out, and I did get an email today from Michelle telling me that there's going to be a new mega kit coming out with all Christmas, so I'm super excited to get my hands on that and to be able to show you some of the wonderful things that we'll all be able to be creating for the next few months leading up to Christmas. And we can say Christmas now because it's October. Well, it's near the end of October, so actually we're getting closer and closer as the day goes on. Okay, so there I've given that a little bit of a colour change in here. So I'm going to use, like I said, this side of my paper. So I'm just going to trim this little white border off there. Didn't quite catch that. There we go. Okay, so I want to measure this just 1/4 of an inch less all the way around. So that takes me, so it's 5, so I just want to do 1/4 of an inch less. So I'm measuring that at 4 3/4, which perfectly gets those mushrooms in the bottom as well. And obviously, because this is 8 inches tall, I want to make that 1/4 of an inch less. So I'm just going to take a little bit off the top, just a tiny little sliver, and then have my 7 3/4 there, which again manages to keep that mushroom on there beautifully. Whoop. Now obviously, because I've rounded the corners on this one, I do need to round the corners on this one as well, so that fits in nicely. And again, I'm going to come in with my vintage photo just to pick up the edges on here. We've got a bit of a storm coming in at the minute in the UK as well, so it's been very, very windy here. Just perfect for those days when you want to just be in your craft room and not have an excuse to go out. It's lovely. Radio on, crafting away. It's my happy place. There we go. So this is going to be my very first cover on there. And I'm running out of glues at the minute. I'm going to come in with my Collage All-Purpose. So this is a clear glue. I've used Collage before. It dries clear and sticks really, really well. But I am running out. Need to make it my mission to go and get some more glues. I don't think that's going to come out at all. Let's try this one. Here we go. So again, when you're doing covers, really make sure that you go up to the edges of your project and your papers so they really stick down. we go. So look at that for a front cover. That paper is just amazing. So I'm leaving a little bit of a border all the way round. There we go, and that's my front cover. It just looks perfect on its own. I will be adding some more to that in a little while. Right, okay. So coming into our next page. So on this page, I'm going to use, let's find it. So I've got this one. Okay, and I think this is this one from Candice. So I'm going to just do again background for this on these two pages. So again, I'm going to cut this one. It's 5 by 8, so just slightly smaller than that all the way around. So just trimming off my white edges first of all. Okay, so trimming that at 4 3/4. And I want the mushrooms on this side, so I'm going to trim that edge down there. And then again going at 4 3/4. There we go. And a little bit off here, so it's just got to be a little bit less than 8. So 7 3/4. And these are all pages were meant to the same. They'll all be 7 3/4, just like 1/4 of an inch less. Or I'm thinking I want to keep that. So 7 3. Nearly cut too much off then. 7 3/4. And then this one again, a little bit off the bottom, and then measure that at 7 3/4. That's because I keep that lovely, beautiful bee. That's just gorgeous, isn't it? Okay, so again, just make sure that when you're coming to the corners, when you decide which paper's going to go where, just to round those corners off. I'm actually going to put that one there because I want to put a pocket on this one, so I don't mind covering this little bit up here. And then same this side. But this will give you just a really nice idea for a little project to use with these freebies. Like I said, this is a really good flat mail project because once this is obviously all put together, it's not like a really, really big, wide project. And I just love mushrooms. I just think that's one of those things that I just love the look of mushrooms and they just make me happy. I don't eat mushrooms. I eat mushrooms in things, but if you said to me, have a mushroom, oh no, garlic mushrooms, anything like that, I don't like. A bit like tomatoes. I like eating tomatoes in things. But for some reason, I can't put my teeth into a tomato. Bit of a strange one. There we go. So our next two pages are ready to go in. So coming in with my Collage glue again. All the way around the edges and across the middle. And then leave that little border all the way around the edge. And again on this side, same. And these kind of things make nice little gifts actually as well. I'm thinking when you're leading up to things like the Christmas, I'm looking forward to getting the Christmas mega pack because you can make like organisers, so you get all your Christmas shopping things in there and who you have to buy for. That's a really nice idea. Okay, so on this first page, I think I'm going to come in now with some of my pockets and things. So these are the ones from Journal Me Crazy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop one of these smaller pockets, I think, on the front here. So just coming in with my scissors. And it's good because we get these little cards that then go in these tall pockets as well, because sometimes taller pockets are harder to fill, but they're almost like little bookmarks that you can pop inside there. So once you get your freebies, I've downloaded mine onto 160 GSM card, so it's not really thick. It's just enough for things like pockets and pages. So once you've got this on there, I do like to score mine on my scoreboard. You can just fold over. I find it just easier sometimes just to run it just through your scoreboard. That's my personal preference. Obviously you can just freehand if you want to. I just find it easy. Once you've scored, that will just be easy to then fold back inwards. Okay, and because they're mitered at the corners, you can see that's not going to cause any bulk in your project. There we go. So I'm going to pop that. I'm just going to pop some ink around the edge just to lift that colour. The other side. And I'm just going to pop that into the corner there. What am I looking for? Blue. I'm just thinking that's quite similar in colour. So what I'm going to do on here is I'm just going to come in with a little piece of black card. I'm actually going to glue that down on here. Can you see how that's just going to lift that a little bit? So just come in with your, this is tacky glue. It's going to come down there. And this will just lift it off the page a little bit because it's quite similar colours. I think if I just directly stuck that on there, that's going to lose the definition. So a real tiny little border. Keep it the same at the top. Okay. So you still have your pocket. I'm just going to put a little, this is a 1-inch punch. I'm just going to put a tiny little notch in there as well. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut that on my trimmer. Now by doing this, that's lifted that whole pocket off the background. Okay, so we still have, I can see that in there, we still have our pocket, exactly if that would have been stuck down on the page, but it's just lifted that off there. And I'm going to put that to this side because I want to keep that mushroom picture there, and I'm just going to pop that down with some more tacky glue. So that's a nice little tip. If you've got papers of the same kind of shades and colours, don't be afraid to back them on a contrasting colour. And there we go. I'm just going to pop that there. I'm going to come in, I think, with the same one from Journal Me Crazy. I'm going to cut one of these little 9s out. And again, this is all on the same 160 GSM card. You can print obviously little labels onto paper as well, or a really good tip is to print them onto sticky paper. And that way you make your own little stickers. You can just take the backs off and pop them wherever you like. I'm just going to pop that at the top There we go. So that's my first page done. So I'm just going to cut out one of those little tabs. These are like little bookmarks. It'd be quite nice actually. I might put a little tassel in the top of this. Again, if you're not very straight with scissors, you can always obviously use your trimmer. These are all straight edges. So I'm just going to come in, chop that one there, pick that little corner up and turn it over. So you obviously get the same on the other side. There we go. I'm just going to pop a hole in the top. And I will actually put some, no, is that going to be a little bit too wide? So I'm just going to pull my trimmer in, just to take a smidge off the side. There we go. I think it's because it's paper going into paper. No, that's neat. Take a little smidge off the other side. There we go. And that will just pop in there. She says, I need to put that onto some card. It's because it's paper onto paper. And it's not obviously plain ball. Okay, I'm going to leave this side for now. I'm going to come in to my next stage. So this is now the middle spread. So we've got our 1, 2, our 3, 4, and then our 5, 6. Okay, so on this one, I'm not going to pop. I'm just going to ink the card. I think sometimes we feel like we have to back everything, and actually you don't always have to back every single page. And because these tall pockets are quite nice and wide on this one, I'm just actually going to pop a pocket in the middle. It's quite liberating. I've been watching a lot of other people putting together junk journal pages, and it's just nice sometimes that less is more. I think sometimes we try and put too much on a page and you lose a design behind it. So on this one, I am simply going to take one of these. Now I'm going to actually take it off the back, if you know what I mean. I'm going to cut it away from the actual back. So I'm not going to have that little edge piece. So just because it's there doesn't mean you have to use it. Getting bold in my old age. But I think I am going to keep those two bits. Okay, I'm going to create a kind of like corner pocket. So rather than have it as a 3-edged pocket, just do it as a 2-edged, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so again, you can score and fold or just fold. So I can show you can do it both ways. So last time I scored, this time just finding that edge and then folding along it. Okay, so that makes then an open edge pocket. Okay, rather than having all 3 sides stuck down, this is kind of like they're going to be a tuck spot instead. Okay, so we're going to glue those 2 edges down. And because this is on the plain cardstock this time, it's quite nice because you can then see that sticking out. So try and make your edges the same. So just gluing that in there like that. And then what I've got here is, this is from my freebie one, I've got these fussy cuts. So I can then probably put something down the bottom. So I'm going to fussy cut one of these out. Just trying to think what size to use. I'm going to go for the small one. Now these have got a lovely little border on them, which I love personally when I fussy cut. If I show you that really close up, can you see that's got that border? And the reason why I like fussy cutting like this is because it leaves no, you don't have to really kind of get close in next to it and make sure that you've got every little nook and cranny of that mushroom. You just go round, and like when I'm cutting out, just move your paper rather than your scissors. That's a good tip. So moving that paper around, and that white border then gives you that lovely background without having to really fussy cut. So I'm going to pop that just down there. I'm just going to slightly ink that up. You don't have to, but that's what I want to do on mine. There we go. And lots of glue all over. I'm going to pop that down the bottom there. And I'm then going to come in with one of these little, oops, I'm going to cut one that says postcard this time. So cutting that out, and I'm going to layer this up. So I'm going to have postcard. I'm going to bring in just a bit of lace. So think about that going onto there. Just going to straighten my lace up. A wonky cut last time I used that. So put that on there. And I've got a little bit of this as well, so I might pop that behind there. A nice piece of music. So I'm just going to come around and ink that. And this is just like a little bit of collage, just a bit of layering up. So I might put that there, that there, and that there. I don't like it that way. Just kind of like a little layer up there. This is where I start getting in a mess. This is a good thing about being a crafter, and this is a bit I love. Sometimes you don't have, you have a general idea of what you want to do, but it's not until you start pulling everything out and playing with it that you then really see what you want to do. And this is tacky glue, so I'm just going to do it on the central bits of this lace, because that will stick onto the paper. There. And then pop my little postcard on top of all of that. There we go. So we've got a lovely little side pocket there. And I think I'm going to cut out one of my cards. I'm actually going to come in with my trimmer for this, so it's nice and straight, because my cutting skills, as you know, are not the best. So just cut these lovely little cards down, and again they've all got a little border on here, so it gives room for error. There we go. So I'm going to actually get two of those together. Didn't go quite straight in my trimmer. And I'm going to fold that over just to make a little journaling card. So obviously in the middle of that, you can then open it up and have a little journaling spot in there. and that's just going to pop in there. So again, a blank page sometimes is fine. You've got lots of fussy things on a page, which is lovely, but sometimes just a blank page can be quite nice. I might do a bit of stamping on this later as well. Now, next page over here, let's have a little look. I'm going to come back to this one. I'm going to create a belly band, I think. Let me see. So it's a quite nice page here. I'm going to try and get this owl as part of the belly band. Again, my light is so bright, it's kind of like making these colours quite washed out, but they really are not at all. So I'm going to trim just a little bit off here, just so I've got the owls back, and then I'm going to trim that as a belly band. So coming in like that. There we go. So I'm just going to take a little bit off the top. Pop that there. I want to see the tiny little slip off the bottom. Tiny little bit. So again, inking the edge of this page. To lift those edges. There we go. And I'm also going to just ink the belly band itself. So vintage photo distress ink's one of those ones that's really handy. This is my go-to if you want to buy anything. The Tim Holtz distress inks are brilliant. I've actually just added to my collection. I used this in my project the other day. Peacock feathers. Oh, it's glorious. Absolutely lovely colour. Okay, so again, nice and simple. Just a belly band that's going to go nicely down that page. And again, if you're giving this as a journal to somebody for them to put their own things in, they're not going to want lots of stuff in the page. So obviously they're going to want to add to things, or add to the journal itself themselves. There we go. So just a little line at the top and the bottom. Make sure that's central on the page. Whoop. Making a right mess there. It's craft card, so it does come off. How lovely is that for a belly band? Look at that. That beautiful, beautiful owl. There we go. And again, with these journaling cards, so this is the one that's on from my freebie set. Again, I'm going to just, or shall I choose one of these? No, I'm going to choose one of these because these are just lovely. So I'm going to cut these down again. I'm going to choose that one. It's nice and browns that match. And sometimes when you buy, I mean, when you buy these kits, this is obviously a freebie kit. Once you've got it, you can obviously keep downloading it and cutting it. So there's those two lovely images. You can ink the backs if you want to. I'm just going to leave them plain as they are, and then pop one in either side. So nice little journaling cards for this page. Okay, so then we're going to have our last two pages. So again, this page I'm going to come back in with backgrounds. So I'm going to use this background on here. So again, trimming that down. So 4 3/4 by 7 3/4. So 4 3/4. 4 3/4. And then just take a bit off the bottom and then measure the top 7 3/4. So nice and simple again, our next 2 pages. So again, thinking about what way I want them up. So I'm going to have this on this side. So again, because these corners are rounded, I need to round these ones. And the same on this side. So just pop in again with my distress ink. I really hope that this has inspired you to go and download all these lovely freebies and have a go at just making a little folio. I know some of you are new to junk journaling. Well, this isn't really junk journaling because obviously this is a kit. This is just a journal. Yeah, so it's nice to try and start off with something that you might find easy. I think this is a really simple folio to make. It's not kind of like lots of gluing and lots of cutting and lots of little really hard things to do, because I think sometimes, I've been doing journaling for quite a while, we sometimes forget about our little newbies that need all these hints and tips, and we've all been there, we've all started our journey. So this one this side. And again, all the way down the edges, make sure that they stick nice and firm. And then along the middle. And these pages look like they're kind of like collaged already, so that's really good. Sometimes if you make like a master board where you get lots of different bits of paper and put them all on, this one's like it's already been done for you, so it's fabulous. Gives a really good effect for a background. There we go. See my lovely brown fingers now. So lining up to make sure the top bit's on the other side of the page, and then giving yourself that border around the edge. There we go. So I'm going to do on this page, I'm going to fussy cut some of these mushrooms out. And again, I'm just going to add some mushrooms to there, just to give it a little bit of, lost my scissors again now, a little bit of a focal point really. And so again, when I fussy cut, I just leave that tiny little white border around the edge. And that's obviously a personal preference, so you don't have to do that if you don't want to. But these images are so crisp to cut and use. They're really, really simple to cut out. And I'm going to just collage those up on the bottom of the page. So it looks like this is going to be one of my longer projects. I haven't done a long video in a long time actually. This is nearly coming up to 45 minutes. I do apologise. Obviously you can skip bits. It's just giving you an idea of what you can do with these freebies that Michelle has really, really kindly gifted everybody. There we go. I'll just do one more of the red ones. They don't take too long to fussy cut out at all really, so nice simple shapes, simple kind of mushroom shapes. Bit of a square edge there. This is something I like to do when I've got a project coming up and I've got lots of things to cut out. Is just pop them a radio on or pop the telly on and just fussy cut away. So I'm going to pop that one there. And that one there. And the brown one, I think I'm just going to try and pop on the top. Like a little cluster of mushrooms. Okay. And then I've got these words here, so I think I'm going to cut one of those out to go alongside that, so it just gives a little explanation of mushroom. So I'm going to just use my scissors to cut this one out. And again, you could have left a white border on that one if you want to, but I'm going to again get some black card on this just to back that, to lift that off the background of the same coloured card. So pop that down with some black, or any other colour. You could use orange or a cream. And just give that a bit of a border. There we go. I'm going to pop that there. There we go. So you've got those nice little mushrooms down the bottom and a little mushroom explanation at the top there. Now I'm going to do a bottom pocket on here. It's like a corner pocket. And I've got this nice orange colour here, which is left over from one of the background papers. So I'm just going to simply cut that along there. I am going to back that again on some black. Not having much luck with glue tonight. There we go. So just be careful when you're using black card, because if you get glue on black card, it can sometimes be a real pain to get off. So just a little tiny border on this one. Stick that down. This will show how bad my cutting skills are. There we go. And then I'm going to just corner around that bottom, because it's going into the corner there. Should have corner rounded that one as well, really. And that just makes a little double-sided pocket. And again, that black just lifts it off the background. So glue down two edges. And just pop that in the corner there. And then with this, I've got this nice little kind of piece of card left here, which will make a nice little journal card. So just going to come in and trim that down. And it's amazing what you get left with, and you're kind of like, your brain inspires yourself as you kind of go along with things like this. I had no real plan. I knew what to make a little folio, just for the lady who asked me to show you how to make the folio. So corner around this. I like my journal cards to be nice and round. And then I'm just going to ink the edges. The reason why I use an acrylic block when I ink is because I don't want to get my new mat dirty, which is quite funny when it's what it's there for. And I'm going to actually ink the back side of this as well, just to give that a little bit of lift on the side. There we go. So that's just took that one piece of paper, one little bit of card, and made that into a nice little tuck spot there. And then we've got to our back sheet. Gosh, that was quick. So on the back sheet, I'm going to use the other side of, I've lost it. Have I used it? Possibly used it. I'm going to wing it. I am going to choose to collage these little last bits up. So I've got all these bits and pieces left now that I haven't used, and I've used one of my bigger bits that I didn't want to use that I was going to cover the back with. So I am going to just make my own collage. So these bits that are left over, I'm trying to think what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to cut that bit straight. I'm just going to cut them out and stick them on the background to make my own collage on the back. So sometimes this is, again, because something's been made for one purpose, doesn't mean you can't come in and do something completely different. So I am going to cut that straight. I'm going to then corner around. This is just going along, seeing what we come up with. Because when you have scraps and things, especially when you have like these beautiful kits to use, you don't use all of those elements. You sometimes have bits and pieces left over, so it's really good to know what you can then do with them. So I'm just going to come in and create my own background, just using all these bits I've got left over. Okay, so that one should just overlap nicely there. Just going to cut that off a little bit more there. And again, just doing our own thing. And that will use all these lovely little bits up from this kit beautifully. So I need to make sure that's not on that bend, which it's not. There we go. And I've got this bit here. Again, one of those tall marks. And collaging is a really good way to use up little bits and scraps of paper, because we all have those scrappy bits hanging around. So learning how to collage with them is just going with the flow, just cutting bits out, making it work. So that's really not very straight, Annie. I'm going to bring that in. My cutting skills really are not great. Now I'm going to overlap that there and just cut that just above that section there. Again, just coming in, gluing all those edges down. So lining up those two there. There we go. I'm going to have one of the smaller cards down the bottom, because that's going to fit in there perfectly. These are great, these little cards. They can be just tucked in anywhere, used as pockets, used as tickets in pockets. And I'm going to pop that there. And again, that just means that little corner rounded. There we go, perfect fit there. There we go. So I'm going to have one of my words. It's a fungus. Such a cool word. I've just actually spotted this scrap here, which I think is going to fit. perfectly there. Just going to trim a bit of that off. And that just fits in that little gap. And again, there's no right or wrong, just have a go. Where did I put my little fungus? Lost him. It's gone. It's amazing how you just cut something out and it disappears. Wow, there he is. Now I'm going to pop that there. So I just need something to go in this last little bit here. I might fussy cut that. So again, because it's got that beautiful border, that is super simple to just cut round. Again, move your paper, not your scissors. I don't like them scissors to cut with, I don't like my little ones. I just prefer fussy cutting with smaller scissors. So I had a plan for the back, used the plan for the back, so we're going with plan B. Always have a plan B. Super simple. I'm going to put that one in first. That there. And then just put that fungus word over the top. There we go. So I've made my own collage background, just using all those bits and pieces that were left over. Okay, so front of the book, I am going to put this mushroom. I'm going to cut this one out. And again, just do a little bit of collaging, a little bit of layering up for the front of the book. And I'm also going to pop some, let's try to think what I've got in here. Whether this will look quite nice poked through there. I went out and bought some lace the other day from my local haberdashery, and they were selling off some lace. I was like, oh, joy. So this is kind of like a really kind of like thin lace. And so if I remember how I did this one now, so I'm going to go in, no, I'm not, I'm going to come from the back out, and then I'm going to go over into there, top, and I'm going to bring that all the way down to the bottom. I've done that the wrong way. Yeah, done that the wrong way. So I'm going to go into the bottom, so in the middle one first. So I need to end up with my tie on the front. So in to the back and then back out to the top. Then I'm going to go all the way down the front into my bottom hole. So that leaves that there. And then when I come back in this side, I'm going to go the other side of this piece of lace, hopefully. So again, coming back up the bottom, back in through that hole. Just going to get my pokey tool to poke that through. And then come in the other side of there. Okay. And then that's just going to tie off at the front with a nice little bow. All fingers and thumbs. There we go. Nice little tie on the side, and that's given that nice double effect down the back, so you can tidy that up later. So collage on the back, on the front. So I cut off the word mushroom, and again I'm just going to come in with that black card just to lift that off and raise that up slightly for the rest of the journal. And just leave that a tiny little border. And again, I'm going to trim mine because I know what my scissor skills are like. So just a little border around the edge. I'm going to pop that in the middle. I'm actually going to use, I've got 3D Collage glue. So this comes out in like a raised gel. And what you do is you just pop that on the background. You can use sticky pads, but I just love this stuff. It just, I'm going to have that lower. So just in there. So you can see that just raises that off and it sticks it there like that. And I'm going to do the same with the word mushroom again at the top. And I'm going to just collage that up a little bit more. So cut out mushroom. And a little bit of black card. Not going to fit on there. Yeah, just need to trim that little bit of white. And popping that on there. That's quite good because that's about the right size for that border as well. I should be able to cut this with scissors. Oh, she says. Hurrah! Success. So we're going to pop a nice little piece of lace under this again because I thought that looked quite nice last time. Giving that nice little collage effect. So this is tacky glue, so that will stick that down really well. So popping that down there. It's going to go to the side just because I don't want to cover the owl up. So sticking that there, and then just again with that, where have I put it? 3D glue. I'm going to cut that because I don't like that over that owl's head. It's annoying. So I'm just going to bring that in. That's better. It's funny when you put something down and just don't like it. A little bit of Collage glue again just to raise this up. And that glue will go into the fibres of the lace and stick beautifully. Now when you do collage glue up, always push it up from the bottom. This is a good tip. Make sure it sits just sticking out of the surface and then put your lid on. If you don't do that, it gets air in it and goes hard. So if you're using collage glue, good tip for you there. So there we have our little folio. So we've got our beautiful owl print on the front, and remember these are all freebies. All I've done in here is use that craft card. We've got a little, I will put this on some card so that's a little bit stronger, and put a little tassel in there. Nice plain page there. Then we've got our little tickets, a little side pocket then with a little bit of collage up here, and again for some fussy cut. I used 2 of my own little freebies. They can be used as German cards in a belly band. And again, got the mushroom words with that lovely little fussy cut there. Then I've made a journaling card in a little tuck spot pocket there. And then I did that collage at the back with all those little leftover bits and pieces. So it's taken me over an hour to do. Really simple project, and as you can see, that's nice and flat. So I am going to go back in a moment because I've got these gorgeous tickets. I'm going to cut these out, so I didn't want to make you sit and watch that kind of thing. I might add some more pockets and things in here, but it's just to give you the general idea of get your hands on these fantastic freebies. Absolutely beautiful. Also go and check out the other channels. I've listed those below where you can get all the other pages as well as my own freebies. And yeah, have a go at making a little folio. Not too hard, doesn't take too long, and obviously you can make it your own little project. So I hope this has given you some inspiration today, and I'll speak to you and see you all soon. Bye.